Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Gorson Road Project Town Hall. My name is Michael Gault, and I'm an eminent domain attorney with Bell, Carrington, Price, and Gregg, and we want to thank you for joining us here this afternoon. What I like to do in these town halls is just to open up by discussing the project a little bit in general. If you live in this area along Gorson Road in Wilmington, then you've likely been hearing about this project for some time. The project itself began design stages back in 2018 and 2019. Since then, there have been a number of public meetings and public input periods, and now we're down to the time when the NCDOT is entering what we call the right-of-way acquisition phase, basically meaning that the project itself is designed and they're ready to go forward into the next phases of the project. What are they doing along Gorson Road? Well, basically, the North Carolina Department of Transportation is widening a 2.5 mile stretch of Gorson Road in Wilmington, and that includes mainly a 17.5 foot wide median, along with a multi-use path on one side of Gorson Road and a smaller sidewalk on the other side of the road. What does this mean for folks that live along this stretch and that work along this stretch of Gorson Road? With the installation of a new raised median, naturally, whereas in the before you could pull out of a particular drive entrance or driveway and maybe make a left-hand turn, those will be eliminated along most of the stretch of this project. Because there's a median that prevents you from going across and making a left, now nearly all turns into Gorson Road will be right-hand turns. And what that means is that if you need to get into a business on the opposite side of the road, you're likely going to have to go up some distance or down some distance, make a U-turn at a controlled intersection, and then make a right turn into the residence or business that you intended to go to before. That's important, and we'll talk about a little bit more about why that's important here in a second. But as with any road widening project, the DOT in this case is going to need to acquire property on both sides of what is currently existing Gorson Road in order to make this project happen. That project comes from private landowners. And so the legal theory that allows the government to take private property for a public purpose like this is called eminent domain. And that's the type of law that we practice at Bell Carrington. Basically, what we do is we represent landowners like yourselves when the government, in this case, the North Carolina Department of Transportation, attempts to come through to take private property for a public purpose. Now, that is a right that the government has. That's a clearly established legal principle. And in a case like this, it's very unlikely it is very likely that the court would hold that this is a public purpose. It's certainly for a public roadway that the public would utilize. And there's very little question that this project will ultimately help improve safety and congestion along this stretch of Gorson Road. But that leaves you as a landowner in a particularly precarious position. You also have rights, and one of the most important rights that you have as a landowner in a case like this is the right to what we call just compensation. And that basically means that the government, in this case the NCDOT, has to compensate you fairly and adequately for the property that they're seeking to obtain as a result of this project. In addition, there could be other damages that you may not be aware of. Damages are additional monetary damages, money that the government may owe you because of reduced or different access that you may have or that others may have to your property, whether that be a residence or a commercial property. And that's something that you need to be on the lookout for. Now, just purely from a practical standpoint, this process, the way that it works is that if you haven't been contacted already in the last couple of months, I expect you to have some contact very soon in the next coming weeks to coming months with either an employee or a representative of the North Carolina Department of Transportation. They're probably going to come to you and let you know, number one, that your property is impacted, and number two, that they have an initial offer for you. And that experience can be scary for a landowner with no experience. But in a case like this, because the people that come to you with that initial offer do have experience in eminent domain matters. They are likely backed by an appraiser who does eminent domain appraisals all the time. And they're certainly going to be represented by a right-of-way agent whose full-time job is to negotiate with landowners regarding eminent domain cases. And so if you're a landowner who has no experience handling matters like this, that can be, sort of confusing. In fact, it can, just put you behind the eight ball a little bit, not knowing and not being well versed in the same language that the folks that are negotiating with you are. And that's why it can be important to have someone like us to help represent you through this process, to help guide you, to help you with the negotiations, to help you maybe see some issues that have arisen regarding your property that you may not have seen otherwise. A couple of things that I like to touch on with a project like this, with a case like this. Oftentimes, potential clients, landowners, and eminent domain matters are scared to reach out to lawyers because of a fear, again, of the unknown of attorney's fees. What do I have to pay out of pocket? What will this lawyer's bill run me? Well, I can't speak for all firms and I can't speak for all practice areas, but when it comes to eminent domain matters at Bell Carrington, I can assure you of two things. The first of which is that our initial consultations are always free of charge. Myself or someone on our team, we stand ready to talk to you. We'd like to have you reach out to us with the information provided in the chat box, an email address and a phone number that you can reach me or our team directly. Call us. If you think your property is impacted, give me a call and we can discuss how it's impacted and if I can help. If you don't know if your property is impacted, call us. We have some proprietary software that will allow me to pull up your address in real time while we're on the phone in that initial consultation to be able to see if you're impacted. And then again, if so, how we may be able to help. This is what we do. This is what I'm passionate about. And so don't be scared to call us. And that consultation, that initial consultation, is always free of charge. There will never be any fee owed with that initial consultation. We're happy to speak with you. The second thing that I can tell you about our fee structure in eminent domain cases at Bell Carrington is that we operate on a contingency fee basis. And that basically means there's no out-of-pocket, there's no upfront cost. There will never be any out-of-pocket fee owed by a landowner in a case like this. Our fees are derived from a percentage of the amount that we're able to recover for our clients, either through negotiation and eventual settlement, or potentially at the end of the day, if we're not successful in settling the case, through a jury trial. And so whatever the ultimate resolution is, whatever amount of just compensation that we're able to get for our clients, our fees operate as a percentage of that recovery. And again, if you'd like more details on how that works, what the percentages are, happy to have a conversation and have a consultation with each of you individually to find out if we can help you. And then we can go into more detail on a property by property basis to show you exactly what that fee structure would look like. And happy to explain all of those things again during our initial consultation. That's always free. And so, ultimately, to summarize and to sort of recap, we have a road widening and a new installation of a median, mainly right-hand turns only onto Gorson Road and off of Gorson Road. Most of your cross streets will be, those intersections will be improved, and most of those will offer only right-hand turns. And so particularly if you're a business owner along this stretch of Gorson Road that currently has what we call full access, meaning folks can maybe enter a median now and turn left into your property. Folks can turn left out of your property. That will be no longer for the majority of this project, and you will be losing some access. Folks may have to go through the inconvenience of going past your property, making a U-turn and making a right turn back into your business, in the future. And that's a concern. Access is a big deal, especially for commercial properties. And so not to say that this won't impact residential landowners, but it certainly will, especially with the taking of the actual land. But for you commercial landowners, there could be additional damages involved. So I invite you to reach out to us. Again, Michael Gault with Bell Carrington. We are a regional firm that offers an eminent domain practice for landowners, and someone on our team is standing by, ready to speak with you if you have any concerns about this project, or if you just want to know more about it. Feel free to give us a call. Happy to take the time to speak with you. Again, thank you for being here for this town hall today. I hope that you're having a healthy, happy, and safe holiday season, and I look forward to speaking with some of you in the future. Thank you.